And I came out with other things like Soul Garden, S-O-U-L Garden, but then that sounds too much like another brand. The story of how we came up with the name Timbre was actually quite a funny one because we were looking at the Substation Garden as our first venue, but we didn't have a name yet, a few months before we opened. So I was like really rushing to think about all the names, and I mean it was really a writer's block. I mean I couldn't get a good name. I came out with names like Juke Joint, Soul Garden, E Garden, I Garden, you know. In those days, the IE, you know, that kind of thing. But it didn't work, it all didn't work. And then at 2 o'clock one morning, in my bed, I was looking through my thesaurus, typing in music, tone, colour, you know, things like that. And then out came the word timbre, with the stroke, which has a different meaning, by the way. And then, of course, timbre without the stroke. And the timbre without the stroke is actually, it means tone of music, tone of voice, tone of your instrument. And then it just said, wow, I got it. I got the name. It's 2 o'clock. And then I texted my partner, and he agreed quite readily. These 2 syllables sounds quite fun. Some call it by the right name, but some call it timbre as in wood, because it's a lot of wood. Like our stage, you know, it looks like very wooden, you know, very woody. We didn't mind as long as people came. And why did we call that name? Why did we name it that way? Because our core value is to support our Singapore musicians. We wanted to be consistent through the years as really a home for Singapore musicians. And Timbre was the perfect name for it. 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of people, especially our musicians. Venues can't present live music. Suddenly there's no events, weddings. But in some ways, 2020 also has really brought me back to the basics. I mean, the basics of why we even started Timbre 15 years ago, or why I was even a musician and started my first company even before that. And I think it's important to remember that. So I'm thankful in some ways. It's reminded me a lot about what I'm passionate about. So the last couple of months, I've been working really hard with Music Society Singapore, SG Muso, to come up with a fund for our musicians. As I think that a lot of musicians are close to giving up. We want to be there to support them as a community, and really hope by coming together, we can come out stronger.